stand for our rights. We won't back down. With fire in our hearts, we're taking the town. Against the shadows, we'll fight for our land. Together we rise, united we stand for the beat of the drums. We'll chant and shout across the street or say the hearts of the crowd. No room for whispers, for fear and regret. We'll write our own story, you ain't seen nothing yet. We'll freedom we cherish, we'll make the stands. We're ready up to fight. Time for our dance.
In the shadows they stand, with courage so bold, fighting for the land, legends to behold. They whisper of hope, like tales of old. Right-wing heroes rise, their stories unfold. Oh, they carry the flame ever bright, guiding us home through the night.
In the shadows they gather, with their banners raised high, a song of defiance echoes beneath the sky. They rise up in the night with passion burning bright.
Dancing to the radio, spinning round in the glow, carried dreams on the wind to see our heroes begin. We'd shout, will they like the way, with courage shining bright today, holding hands through the fights and fears, together against the tide of years. Remember when the heart stood tall.
In our little town so serene, where the grass is green, the air so clean, we gather round the table every night. Joyful days, oh, what sight, with values passed, with generations past, living life with love that'll surely last. As the city lights look bright, we hold to our roots tight, in our hearts the same old fires, guided by the good old days. Sharing moments with friends always divine, working hard for what we seek, respecting each word we speak, holding dear to our family ties underneath these nostalgic skies. As the city lights so bright, got too tight, in our hearts the same old fire. Oh, we sway with every change of time, but in our hearts, old love and soul, that made baby in our heart, getting like a tornado in this fast-paced world we can fight. Traditions keep our hearts going wild, but you're goodbye in our hearts simple ways. We got it by the good old days.
We stand firm in our belief.
Hold tight.
Through the times clearer we can see, crazy world spinning round.
Stay grounded.
In our hearts simple truth supreme, whisper of freedom and liberty
Rings true.
Our foundation strong and deep, holding on to what we know, while the rest of the let's go. Steady paths we choose to follow, while the winds of change blow. In the story we built for trust and doubt, time flies but we won't bend. Communists talk loud and fast,
Stay solid.
our quiet strength is our reply. So salute to change but pause,
Reflect.
in unity our dearest friend. Holding on to what we know, while the rest of the world lets go. Steady paths we choose to follow, while the winds of change blow. In shadows we find our light, through chaos we stay upright.
Stay
With courage, faith on our side,
forever.
standing firm our guide. Holding on to what we know, while the rest of the world lets go. Steady paths we choose to follow, while the winds of change blow.
In the heart of the jungle there's a whisper. John Birch, a soldier, takes the lead. With a spirit so brave he conquers darkness. On his mission hear the call, take heed. Through the shadows where wild winds blow, he's seeking the truth where few dare to go. John in the heart of the wild, John on a journey so styled, John in the heart of the wild. With faith in his soul he speaks to the lost, bringing warmth with every tale he tells. Through the valleys and hills where the rivers cross, he fights for the ones who dwell in the shells. With every step he dances with faith, unraveling tales that forever await. John in the heart of the wild, John on a journey so styled, John in the heart of the wild. Through the battles, through the night, he carries a flame, a guiding light, for every soul that's searching for peace in his heart. May the sorrow cease. John in the heart of the wild, John on a journey so styled, John in the heart of the wild.
In the heart they gather strong, pushing back the lefty's throng. With the red banner held high, marching forward through the night. Promises of old will keep, as the donkeys start to weep. Stars and stripes forever sway, in the land of the brave we stay. We've got the power now, in the heart of every town. We've got the power now, the Reds are going down.
With a flagpole planted firm,
Golden dreams that won't decay,
marching proudly through the day.
in the eagle's shadow by, we find our strength and take our pride. Let the voices echo loud, tearing through the waiting crowd. We've got the power now in the heart of every town. We've got the power now. The Reds are going down. Across the plains and mountains all, hear the victory call. With courage and with might we stride in the light of freedom's sky. We got the power now in the heart of every town. We've got the power now. The Reds are going down. Times are changing, feel the buzzing, staying true when they're fussing. Keep the flag a-flying through stormy nights. With the star-spangled banner, I stand tall with manners. Cross my heart with hope in sight. Here comes freedom in the land of hope and prairie with liberty. Stick to values in the trends. Families gather, let's defend. Hold the line, keep the bond alive. Truth in our vision, in God we make decisions. For our dream, true, thrive and strive. Here comes freedom in the land of hope and prairie with liberty. We'll keep fighting for what's right, standing strong in the night. Here comes freedom in the land of hope and bravery with liberty.
In the shadows they stand with courage so bold, fighting for the land, legends to behold. They whisper of hope like tales of old. Right's wing heroes rise, their stories unfold. Oh, they carry the flame ever bright, guiding us home through the night.
In the heart of the jungle there's a whisper. John Birch, a soldier, takes the lead. With the spirit so brave he conquers darkness. On his mission hear the call, take heed. Through the shadows red wild winds blow. He's seeking the truth where few dare to go. John in the heart of the wild. John on a journey so styled. John in the heart of the wild. With faith in his soul he speaks to the lost. battles through the night. He carries a flame, a guiding light for every soul that's searching for peace in his heart. May the sorrow cease. John in the heart of the wild. John on a journey so styled. John in the heart of the wild.
Hello, everyone, on this wonderful spring evening. It is Culturama time, everyone. Let's have a round of applause. Thank you, everyone that has decided to join. And gonna be quite the tumultuous episode today, as a lot of you may have heard about the attacks that have happened at FSU. Of course, I'll be covering that as well, just impromptu. I didn't originally have it in the lineup of this show, but it is a requirement as a news show to talk about breaking news on Culturama, and that is just what we will do. As well, as you may notice from the title and the thumbnail of this stream, we'll be talking about the, Karmelo Anthony case. There has been quite a stir regarding the family and the Anthony family and some of the reactions that they have had to Austin Metcalf's father. Joining the press conference. We'll be talking about that and many of the consequences of that follow afterwards, as well as many other things. Autism is on the rise. That's another topic that I'll be covering. RFK Jr.'s response to the autism epidemic, or pandemic even, if you want to call it that. His comments on why this rise is occurring, and he is blaming environmental factors. What do you guys think about that? What exactly is autism today? I'll be discussing that as well as many other things in the news today. So I want to thank everyone that has joined us. Please like and share the stream. If you're brand new here, I want to welcome you to Culturama. On this show, our primary focus is, of course, discussing politics and culture, but most importantly, to have necessary topics and discussion to hopefully reclaim the American zeitgeist, reclaim the conversation, so we can promote Americanist ideals, Americanist values, and bring back American exceptionalism back into the United States, patriotism, and American pride, as well as a few conservative elements. But most importantly, the main point of this show is to combat the postmodern elements that has infected our society and infected many aspects of our institutions here today in the country. One of which is, of course, cultural Marxism, which is something I discuss on this show quite a bit. Of course, I don't call it by that name specifically, but as you will come to find out, as you watch this episode, future episodes, as well as previous episodes, that cultural Marxism is an infectious disease that has had an iron grip on our higher academic institutions, our governmental institutions, as well as our just even had an iron grip on our families, on individuals as well here in America. And that's eroding the foundation of this country. And this is the main point of this show, is that we could hopefully reclaim some elements of the conversation to combat that. So let me get off my pedestal here of cultural Marxism and say hello to everyone that has decided to join us here today, this evening. I know that it's a lovely day here where I live, and I presume it's lovely and sunny everywhere else. So for those that are taking their time to, sit down, relax, maybe eat dinner beside me as we watch this show, thank you so much. And I am very much honored that you are taking the time to spend with me here. So I want to say hello to Nelson65. Good evening, Culturama. I'm assuming you met Culturama, Nelson. Hello. We have Grizz Cheese, of course, in the building. Welcome, Grizz Cheese. Good to see you back. We have Rowhouse. Rowhouse, you have made it on time this stream. Very good to see you. I also see Blumpkin Zero, Bucks Nasty. Hello, hello. You guys, these are, of course, the usuals. Very good to see you guys. And we have Mr. Pig in the building. Hello, Mr. Pig. All the usuals. If you are a lurker, if you're brand new, please feel free to drop a comment. And like I said, please share a like, share this stream, share this link. It goes a long way in supporting a show. And that's a non-monetary way that you can support this show, is just to share it. On Twitter, let's see how many viewers we have on Twitter right now. Let me go on my Twitter here. And we can see. So on Twitter, we presently have right now, we have almost nearly 300 viewers on Twitter. And we are lower numbers on Rumble. We're at 15 right now. Let's bump those numbers up, everyone. Let's get this show started. Bucks Nasty writes, already drinking. Welcome, Bucks Nasty. I wish I could join you there, but I can't for this show here exactly. Not today's show, because today's show is a little dark, but necessary to talk about, okay? I know it's going to be a little dark, but necessary to talk about. And one of those that I want to... Rowhouse says he can only stay for the first half of the show, then have to hit the gym. I'm with you there, Rowhouse. I didn't go to the gym today. I haven't for the last 2 days. It's already getting on my nerves. I'm going to have to go tomorrow. I hear you, Rowhouse. Thank you for joining for the first half of the show. Anyways, let me just jump into the news, you guys, because this FSU business, unfortunate, it's unfolding as we speak. It's happening real time, so I'm not going to have all my details perfect. In the second half of the show, I'll be talking about it a bit more, but I'm just going to open up with a few clips here so we can get started the right way, and that is talking about breaking news. So let me get on my second screen here. So I don't know if I can show these images on my stream. I'm just going to be honest with you guys. I'm jumping right into this, but there has been another mass... what's another word that rhymes with this? There's been a massacre happening in FSU. There have been 5 people that have confirmed to pass away. And I'm sure a lot of you have seen this video. This is a student filming another student on the FSU campus that has been shot. I don't believe they are mortally wounded in this video, but they have been shot, and this person just walked past them with a Starbucks in hand. Very unfortunate circumstance. But here's another video of the victims are currently being transported for treatment. The situation seems to be active and dangerous. This was this morning. Nelson 65, I am still on. You're asking if I'm still on. Your screen is locked up. Maybe that's an issue with your device there. But let's listen to this here. So here we have I'm back. Yes, Nelson. So as you can see, we have the authorities coming in. They're pretty chunky looking police officers, not gonna lie, but God bless them for going in. Very frightening situation. How many more of these must happen? An attack happened near FSU's student union. The university has issued an urgent shelter-in-place order as officers respond to the scene. This is still ongoing. Here you see those people carrying a student out. Okay, there's that post. And then someone is knocking. It is unclear if the shooter or other students want in. The situation is crazy. Here's another clip of students taking place of the attacks happening. I don't know if you guys can hear the knocking. I have my volume fully up. But, man, to be in that situation, I'm out of college, at least for now. So I've never been in this situation. I can only imagine how frightening that is. For those that don't hear it, someone was knocking at the door asking to come in. And, of course, the students are hiding, filming the event happening. Once again, this has happened earlier today at FSU, Florida State University. There was a 5-person casualty event, and I believe there are 4 that are wounded. Florida State students evacuate from the area near the shooting scene with their hands above their head. So they're just walking out here. Frightening stuff. Okay, so here is also an interview that has aired earlier today. We'll just watch a minute of it. This is a student's insider report, I guess you could say. They were a witness to what happened. They were there at the event. Just giving their, their take on what has happened. So let's listen.
It says, how are you doing?
I'm okay. It's the people out there that are not okay. Like, I was able to get back to my apartment safely. I'd say, like, I'm literally one of the most privileged people when it comes to this situation. I was walking out of Thagard. I had an appointment there, and then I'm just walking back to my apartment. I'm next to Stroger, and I see these like two guys running. I'm just like, I think it's an altercation just between them two, and then the guy in front is like, "Yo, there's a school shooter. Everyone get inside." And that's like when me and the people around me start to realize that this is serious. So we all like bust into Stroger. You have to like swipe your ID to get in past these like gates, but there's like push past them. I've never been in like a school shooting situation before. I thought, where's the safest place when you go? I go to the elevator and I try to go as high as possible. There's 5 floors, but it only brings me to the 3rd floor. I get out the elevator and like the staff lounge doors open for a second. And I was like, I feel like that would be the safest place to go. And I step in, like, you can't be here. I'm like, there's literally a shooting right now. Let me take cover. And then it's just me and 3 other people. They're faculty for about like an hour or so. And we're just like getting information piece by piece. We don't know how serious the situation is. And then we started to like hear the alarms and all the sirens. Just like kids with like hands on their heads, like getting escorted into the library, and it's so serious. And from there, the fire department eventually came in and said like, okay, we're going to escort you to Reynolds, which is just like some other building on campus. And from there,
my OBS disconnected momentarily. Sorry about that. We're back on. We'll just watch a couple more seconds of this.
I was able to walk home safely. But I know right now there's kids who are still in classrooms. There's kids who like got injured or are being sent to the hospital. Like the fact that I'm being interviewed right now is crazy because I mean, I post.
Yeah, it is crazy. Anyways, wild stuff is happening in FSU, you guys. So I do want to send out positive vibes, positive thoughts to those affected, prayers. But there is a lot more to cover about who the perpetrator was of this. And let me tell you, their political affiliations kind of lines up. Okay, so we're going to be talking about that. You know, of course, like I said, this story is still ongoing. There's just rumors floating around right now, so I don't want to make any claims. I want to be sure that I cover everything accurately. But I will be showing you what I found, what people have been putting out there later on in this episode. So stay tuned. We will cover all of that as we proceed forward. But apologies for the momentary disconnect. I don't know what's happening with my computer. I have like 200 things plugged into my computer right now, so I apologize for that. However, like I said, please stay tuned. We will cover more about the FSU situation, but we have a lot more to cover on this show, which I am more excited to. One of which I want to talk about when I come back is the autism epidemic. What is the deal with that? But before I do that and go to commercial break, I think we have, you guys, $20 donation, $20, a generous donation from the one and only Bucks Nasty. Thank you so much, Bucks Nasty. All you had to write was, "It's a Leo kind of night." It's a Leo kind of night.
Monster kill.
And for those that are not aware of what he's talking about, we of course have Leo, my dog,
Monster kill.
a genetic abomination. He is on par to a circus act, and I bring him on when we get $70 in donations total in this stream. And if we get a total of $70, yes, I will be bringing out the
Monster kill.
So Bucks Nasty already put us ahead in a head start here towards the $70 goal in the Leo meter. So if you guys donate to the stream, if you donate to Rumble Rant, I of course will answer any of your questions, comments, cover any stories that you want me to cover, and also it will go towards the Leo goal and support the stream, everyone. So thank you so much, Bucks Nasty, for that head start. He's a good boy. Yes, he is. He is a very good boy. Also a genetic abomination in many ways, but he has a big heart, and that's all that matters. Anyways, you guys, I'm going to be talking about autism next. RFK Jr. and autism's take on the causes of the rise of autism. I'll be right back, everyone. Stay tuned, and I'll be pulling that story up here next.
Well, hip-hop comes Daniela like Marilyn with a twist. She's got a master's degree and a style you can't resist. On Culturama, baby, we're shaking up the scene. So hit that like, make it click, you know what we mean. Like and subscribe, come on, don't delay. With Daniela at the helm, we're leading the way. It's Culturama, taking back tomorrow today.
You have to force behaviors, and at BlackRock, we are forcing behaviors.
Mao ordered his citizens to throw off the four olds. Old thinking, old culture, old customs, and old habits. So, your whole life went in the garbage overnight, no biggie. And those who resisted were attacked by an army of purifiers called the Red Guard, who went around the country putting dunce caps on people. Yeah, who didn't take to being a new kind of mortal being.
If you don't force behaviors, whether it's gender or race or just any way you want to say the composition of your team, you're going to be impacted.
Well, things haven't been so sweet for Ben & Jerry's after the company posted an anti-American tweet, a few of them, on the 4th of July. The ice cream makers declared the United States was founded on stolen indigenous land.
Well, someone should tell Target that, because they're now selling swimsuits with tuckums in the women's section of the store. And they even have a line just for kids.
Yeah, we're going to reach out to Ben & Jerry's and ask them how they can live with themselves as they operate a multi-billion-dollar company on stolen land while declaring other people give up their so-called stolen land.
This is the child section. This is literally the kids section. I'm next to a literal onesie that says whatever the hell that means. We have "Glad You Came Out" and "I'm so happy that you're queer" in the kids section. Are you kidding me? I'm sorry, but pride and toddler don't belong in the same sentence.
Good news! Starbucks will offer its workers reimbursement of travel expenses related to accessing abortion and gender-affirming procedures.
Kyle Rittenhouse was seen wearing a Black Rifle Coffee Company shirt, and they wanted to distance themselves from that individual. Key employees at the company also were donating to Democrats. Hafer doubled down on throwing many in his base under the bus, describing them as racist and a repugnant group of people.
Hey, Liberty lovers, stop scrolling, because if you're tired of the same old news, then I've got just the wake-up call for you. I want to thank you for tuning in to Culturama, and I know that you're enjoying every minute of it. Join us at rumble.com/AP4Liberty. The Wake Up America show is Mondays through Fridays, 7 to 9 a.m. Central Time. It's a great way to start your day. Coffee's optional, but waking up is mandatory. Remember, at Wake Up America, we'll keep you sharp, we'll keep you laughing, most of all, we'll keep you free. I'll see you in the morning.
Okay, everyone, let's watch this clip of RFK Jr. together.
This is an individual tragedy as well. Autism destroys families. More importantly, it destroys our greatest resource, which are our children. These are children who should not be suffering like this. These are kids who, many of them were fully functional and regressed because of some environmental exposure into autism when they're 2 years old. And these are kids who will never pay taxes. They'll never hold a job. They'll never play baseball. They'll never write a poem. They'll never go out on a date. Many of them will never use a toilet unassisted. And we have to recognize we are doing this to our children, and we need to put an end to it.
how true do you think that is with autism and our definition of autism today? The only thing more... Ignore that commercial. So I want to show you guys some stats here, okay? Bear with me. Autism prevalence has increased over 300% since 2000. And no, I'm not just talking about the people that watch the Culturama show. I'm talking about everywhere. Autism has increased over 300% since 2000, okay? So in the 1970s, it was a ratio of 1 to 10,000 people. Now it's 1 in 36, as reported by the CDC in 2023. Of course, let's see, since COVID, I'm sure now it's spiked since COVID. Of course, we have seen other diagnoses spike since COVID, but regardless, this is my take on the situation, and I firmly believe this. However, I know people have a host of other opinions, and I'm willing to, consider those opinions. But let's just look at this through a common sense lens first, okay? This is what I wrote about the situation. Once again, we are expanding the definition of autism, or ASD. No longer does it refer to debilitating effects on communication or maladaptive neurological development alone. It has been diluted to include even the most superficial of symptoms. Now, as they say, autism is, of course, a spectrum, and it very well is, of course, like many other diagnoses such as ADHD, antisocial personality behavior, and so forth. More or less, people will have aspects of it, but should it be really considered, diagnosable autism, or something that should be considered, I don't know, at least considered within the medical community? Just something to think about here. But RFK has been taking a lot of heat. So I want to talk to you guys about why he's taking heat, okay? Okay, let's read this together. RFK Jr. lays out new studies on autism that just been released, okay? He shuts down better diagnosis as a cause. So RFK doesn't think that our expansion of the definition of autism is the reason for these increases. Let's see what his take is, and think about it and see what the public reaction has been. On the heels of a new report showing that the rates of autism diagnosis have again increased, yet again, the Health and Human Services Secretary, Robert F. Kennedy Jr., said he was determined to find, quote, the environmental exposures behind the rise and directed that the NIH to launch new studies into everything from mold to obesity that could potentially be a factor. Kennedy, who prioritizes autism as one of the chronic illnesses he's determined to tackle in his aim to make America healthy again, ardently pushed back against the explanation that a broadening definition of autism spectrum disorder is a meaningful contributor to the autism diagnosis. Kennedy said that he wanted to move away from the idea that it's because of an expansion definition of autism that we see these increases happen. Quote, this epidemic denial has become a feature in mainstream media, and it is based on an industry canard. And obviously, there are people who don't want to look at environmental exposures, he said, speaking at a press conference in D.C. The report that Kennedy mentioned, published Tuesday by the CDC, estimated the autism prevalence has increased, and now it's 1 in 31. Okay, so the study I have right here says 1 in 36, and now it's 1 in 31, so it has indeed increased. Kennedy calls this shocking. It is. 1 in 31 people have autism, apparently. Holy moly. In 2020, the same report found a prevalence at 1 in 36, like the one I cited. And over 2 decades ago, in 2000, it was 1 in over 150, you guys. Experts in the field agree that the rates of diagnosis are increasing and that environmental factors could be at play, but also say that most of the increases can be attributed to the expanding definition of autism. So it's not like, experts are saying that environmental exposures are not the cause at all. They're not trying to mask that. But they are going to say, let's use Occam's razor here. Perhaps it is because, we've completely diluted the meaning of autism to the point of absurdity. It's a fair question to ask why autism prevalence has increased, says Dr. Catherine Lord, a psychologist and autism researcher at UCLA. There has been a huge shift in terms of awareness, that's for sure. Do you guys go on TikTok? Like every other TikTok now is about having this disorder. particularly awareness of autism without severe intellectual disability. The reality has changed since I entered the field. Okay. So I do want to say this one thing. The way that it's a commercial now, I can't get past it. The part where RFK Jr. says that like these individuals are not the ones that can use a toilet, they can't go on dates, they can't maintain a job. I want to let you guys know that as far as I'm aware, this was autism of the past, okay? This was back, his description would make sense if he's describing autism as it was experienced and described and diagnosed as autism of the past. Autism today, I mean, like the chart says, it's 1 in every 36 people have it. Most of them have jobs. Most of them are in relationships. Some of them are polyamorous relationships, apparently, because, you know, every leftist autist I see on TikTok is in a polyamorous relationship, but regardless, you know, these are people that, once again, the definition has been expanded to include just quirky individuals. I'm just going to put it out there. Like, I'm a little quirky. You guys, I'm sure, are a little quirky. Some of us may have aspects of what would be deemed as autistic these days. No joke. I'm not joking. He's describing hyper low functioning autism, writes Mr. Pig. Exactly, Mr. Pig. He is describing severe cases of autism. And I frankly think if we are going to go out of our way to diagnose this, it should be treated as an actually debilitating condition. This is just me. Guys, there is no cure for autism. I don't know if this is news to you. I'm not talking down to my audience. You guys know this. I'm talking to those that actually, you know, take this stuff seriously. There is no cure for autism. So why would I'm just asking people, if you have very high functioning autism, you know, I guess like Elon Musk, I've met people that are even more communicative than Elon Musk claimed they have an autism diagnosis. Why would you go out of your way to get an autism diagnosis if it doesn't get in the way of, you know, your daily activities, other than make you seem a little quirky? It's not as though if you get a diagnosis, you're going to find a solution to it. There is no prescription, no lifestyle choices that you can do that will solve it, okay? I did see your donation, Nelson65. Nelson65, thank you so much for the $10. You donated $10, and you said in 2010 there was lawsuits on vaccines and autism. One family won over $1.5 million. And it is a Leo kind of night, silly face. Thank you so much, Nelson65. I appreciate you. Leo appreciates you, and Leo loves it when you donate to CM Nelson65. And if we are on the right track, we will get Leo out of here.
Monster kill.
This is an autistic kind of a show, everyone. This is why we're talking about this stuff. Okay, let's continue. Let's skip forward. So, it is a true increase. There is a better awareness of autism. But better awareness of autism cannot be driving disability like autism to increase by 300% 20 years. Zarodny said, referring to the studies in New Jersey in the CDC report. Zarodny said finding the cause was crucial and lamented a lack of progress to address this question seriously over his career. Quote, I would urge everyone to consider the likelihood of autism. Whether we call it an epidemic, a tsunami, or a surge of autism, wouldn't that be sick to call it, like nationally, to call it as an autistic tsunami? Get rid of epidemic. Get rid of surge. Autism tsunami. That sounds like fun. It's a real thing, and we don't understand it, but it must be triggered or caused by environmental risk factors, he said. Kennedy on Tuesday acknowledged that the increase in autism diagnosis could be in part caused by increased awareness. In my opinion, it's just expanded definitions and the clinicalization of all human interactions and endeavors. But said that it still felt like a large portion of a jump to the diagnosis accounted for. Okay, so like I said, I think there is a massive increase in our... Okay. I'm going to be real with you guys. Psychologists, okay? Psychologists and women. The utmost... I'm going to be real here. there has been an occupation of the opposites of the female sex into these professions, in the medical profession, particularly in therapy and psychology, and maybe to an extent psychiatry. And I'm sorry to say, but women are intensely neurotic. Not intensely. They're more neurotic than men are. And so they have a greater prevalence to clinicalize and pathologize everything. Okay? I'm sure you fellas, have dealt with women before. Some of you may even be in a relationship or married to them. Godspeed and God bless. What you will come to find, not all women, of course, a lot of them, though, do pathologize everything. And they like to clinicalize everything. They like to ascribe meaning and definitions to every interaction, conflict, altercation. And I think this is a bit why we are seeing this, we live in an era of clinicalization. And so this is why we're seeing this trend, I think. And I think this is why we have so many people that are uppity about getting a diagnosis for this. That's my read on the situation. Now, I'm not saying, I'm not trying to pin this on women in general. I'm trying to pin it on femoid behaviors. Okay? And this is personally why I prefer male doctors, because I think they take a more intuitive approach to their medical analyses. But I've had effective female doctors as well, and I'm not saying that it's impossible. I'm just saying, though, that with the hijacking, especially of the psychology field, I think this has contributed to what we are seeing here now today. That's just my read on it. Take that with a grain of salt, but let's read this history, just a brief history on the definitions of autism. Okay, in 1994, the DSM-4, which is I guess it's like an encyclopedia of diagnoses. The DSM is basically like your Bible for any psychologist. In 1994, the DSM-4 was released, marking the first edition to categorize autism as a disorder. As a spectrum disorder. It added Asperger's, childhood disintegrative disorder, and Rett syndrome. By the way, people that say that autism is just a male disease are incorrect. Rett syndrome primarily affects girls, just so you guys know. This is my issue with autism and ADHD, is that people ascribe it more as a male disorder. That's not necessarily true. Males and females just exhibit it in different ways based on the way that they're socialized, based on the way that they develop. But regardless, anyway, I'm just putting my 2 cents out there. But the Rett syndrome is, these are all added as different types of autism and may manifest in different ways. PDD-NOS was also kept as a way of categorizing children whose behaviors did not meet specific criteria for autism, but who still may benefit from different forms of behavioral intervention. The research hypothesis at the time was that genetic markers would be found for all different types of autism. While that didn't end up being the case, so they say, these changes plus other factors resulted in the rate of autism diagnosis expanding dramatically. In the early 2000s, various studies estimated rates of about 1 in 150, like we have just talked about, and later reaching 1 in 88. So 1 out of every 8 individuals in 2008 had autism, and now we're at 1 at every 36 or 231. So as you've come to see, initially how we've defined autism as having these genetic factors has now expanded to include other causes. And like we have come to see, other types of autism have been included in the definition. The DSM-5, okay? Now we're jumping back to a couple decades. We're in 2013, okay? Now we have the DSM-5. Before we were working with the standard, the DSM-4. Now we're with the DSM-5. The release of the DSM-5 in 2013 included 6 major changes. These changes consisted of 4 categories that were distinct and now were included in an umbrella diagnosis of autism spectrum disorder. Okay, so now there's an entire umbrella diagnosis, which includes a plethora of behaviors, okay, and different definitions of autism. There was a consolidation of 3 previous categories of autism into 2. Okay, these are social impairment, language communication impairment, and repetitive/restrictive behaviors. Now that became the following: persistent deficits in social communication and interaction, and restricted repetitive patterns of behavior. They added sensory issues as part of the diagnosis. They added levels of support for each of the 2 categories, in addition of any known genetic cause of autism, language level, intellectual disability, and the presence of autism-related medical issues. Okay, so at the time the DSM-5 came out, I'll just read this. Many people found that the rates of autism would go down as a result of seemingly stricter definition. However, it was found that 1 in every 54 children had been diagnosed by the age of 8 in 2016. So they assumed that by changing the definition of autism, it would be a bit more difficult. I'll give them props to these people. They wanted to lower the rate of autism. It turned out it actually had the paradoxical result effect, and actually it made up doctors giving out more diagnosis for this. So another thing with autism is that if you have like genuine, I'm talking about debilitating autism, it's present early on, like this states before the age of 8 for sure. More so, I hear toddlers. You can tell in a toddler, maybe in like 5, 6, 7 years old. That's when it becomes obvious. I have no idea why you have adults now coming out, people my age, grown ass people coming out and saying, "I got an autism diagnosis. I feel seen." I'm sorry, Nelson65. Did I say systems? I meant symptoms. My apologies. Or no, you wrote systems. If you read the symptoms of anything online, it's like astrology descriptions fit everyone else. Exactly, Nelson65. It's so arbitrary. But, you know, you have this trend of individuals, adults like me, people in their 20s, who are coming out and posting TikTok videos, Instagram reels of them saying, "I got diagnosed. I feel seen." And they're adults like me. If it doesn't debilitate your life, if it doesn't get in the way of health, what is the definition of disorder? It is disordered. It disorganizes your life. If you cannot fulfill, you know, a healthy lifestyle, more or less, we all have problems. But if it's difficult to maintain relationships, maintain a job, or if it affects your sleeping, I would say, I think those are the 3 main things. That's when it's classified as a disorder. And you're seeing a lot of adults claiming now they have this disorder when it doesn't affect them in those ways. Let me show you guys what a real, I'm not going to say real, okay, what, you know, serious autism looks like. Are you guys prepared for this? I don't think so. Get ready here. Some of you may already know this. Let me show you here.
Oh, head through the wall. And this is where he stood and kicked it. Ow, 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 He's 6'2" and he weighs 252 pounds. He can.
Okay, you guys, this is the real face of autism. Okay, very serious stuff. Clearly, this guy is disheveled.
Go through this house and just watch.
Clearly, he can't maintain a. This is not your average Elon Musk, you guys. This is debilitating autism, and I really think this is the kind of autism we should focus on.
Everything out, probably.
But this poor mother, I can't. Gosh, I can't imagine, you guys. Parents of autistic kids, God bless you guys.
In 10 minutes. You know, I've had him turn furniture over. Well, you see all the windows and stuff. You know, the air conditioner back in the bedroom, he'll sit and punch that till it's in pieces. You know, in other words, if it breaks anymore, it's kind of like it's material. It can be replaced. I don't even let it bother me. But the destruction is just unbelievable. What are you so mad about?
I have to go.
What are you so mad about?
The Miser Brothers.
Calm down. Look, you got Santa Claus is coming to town.
Of all the fool things for them to do.
You got Santa Claus is coming to town. Don't do that. Allie. Allie. Howie! He's part of the family, and you hate to give up on your child as a lost cause. But I've come to the conclusion now that the best thing would be to place him somewhere where they can control him and they're not going to hurt him. I'm afraid, though, if I do leave him at home.
Bro, that is a headache. I can't even. I mean, this is like. I'm just going to keep my mouth shut. I'm not going to say anything that'll get me in trouble. Let's continue.
It'll be like that man that they took to one of those homes or centers last weekend that got out of control and they tased him and he died of a heart attack.
This is the true face of autism.
Yeah, you understand what's going through my head, why I'm not opposed to taking him and placing him somewhere, because this can't go on and other people cannot control him like me.
If you ask me, still in serious trouble. What's the problem, officer? What's the problem? I'll tell you what the problem is.
How many of you guys think he watches Sonic routinely?
Oh!
He's not watching Sonic now, so...
You wanna watch your movie?
Sonic the Hedgehog, that is.
And wearing funny looking...
So yeah, pretty debilitating. This is another face of autism. For those that don't know who this is Christian Weston Chandler, the most documented man on the internet. But I'm sure if you look him up, you'll find a lot of information about him. And I've talked about him a few times on this show. But this man has, I would say, a more functional level of autism than the previous individual we just watched. But there are signs. There are signs that will lead an individual to believe that one has autism. This individual, of course, what's interesting, he's not like extremely talented, but you know, he has interests. He's interested in art. Okay, he has passions. He has interests. He had an ambition to find a girlfriend, to have a wife, and start a family. So this individual had normal interests. I would even say maybe a certain degree of skill. I think he was decent with technology when he went to his local college. This was way back in the 90s or so, and I think he went to his local community college or technical college. He wanted to get into computer sciences like his father, but the autism was just too much. He just couldn't maintain a normal lifestyle. It is because of his inability to perform, I would say, basic communication, basic social skills, tasks, maintain certain social skills that absolutely obliterated his life. And unfortunately, he had access to the internet, and so people basically maintain an entire chronicle and recorded his life. And as many of us have known, there are trolls on the internet. There are bad actors. People have essentially ruined his life. This individual now is transgender, unfortunately. I don't think he's really transgender. He calls himself Christine. But this is Christian Weston Chandler, and this is the true face of autism as well. To the point where you can function more or less socially, but it still debilitates your life, okay?
I'm going to start the captain's log introduction because this is dead serious. The inside and outside tour I did a few months ago of my house, everyone on the internet, my mother and my father are angry at me. They're blaming at me. It's my fault. I admit it's my fault. I want everything about my house off the internet.
For those that want I apologize for the sun here. It's a beautiful spring day. I wish I was outside right now, but I'm cooped up in here streaming for you guys, and I love it. I'd rather be here right now, actually. But watching Chris Chan videos. So I apologize for the light. I'm going to back up here. But for those that want some context, this individual's yelling because people took pictures of his house and they were going to send it to the authorities because his parents were hoarders. Any normal person would look at the situation and just like kind of unplug from the internet. But this person has autism, okay?
I'll send in detectives, I'll send in police, I'll send in everything in my power to get it off the internet.
Listen to me.
That's his dad coming out.
Listen to me.
Yes.
Shut that goddamn thing off.
Classic.
I don't care what you do. You get all that stuff off of there. Tonight. I'm working on it. Go work on it.
I am
Do
working.
you realize something? Let me tell you. If the health department of Greene County sees those videos that you put on the damn internet, they could condemn our house and we would have to move out
His
of
dad
it.
clearly doesn't have autism.
All right, let me just
Get that stuff off of there.
I'm
Get it off of there fast.
I'm working on it.
I'm working on
I'm
it.
working on it.
It's
So
such
yeah,
a classic.
please get everything off of the internet now.
And he goes back to yelling. Okay, so the CDC, this is actually reported a month ago. So the CDC has said that they will research potential links between vaccines and autism. So let's quickly watch this.
Controversial move for the Centers for Disease Control. The agency will initiate expanded research into understanding autism and the potential links between vaccines and autism, according to a source familiar with the planning. The myth that autism is caused by childhood vaccines has been repeatedly debunked by hundreds of studies.
What is the medical consensus on vaccines and autism?
The scientific evidence is clear. There is no link between vaccines and autism, and this has been proven not just in studies in the United States, but validated and reproven across the world.
Still, President Trump foreshadowed the CDC news at this week's joint address to Congress.
Not long ago, and you can't even believe these numbers, 1 in 10,000 children had autism, 1 in 10,000, and now it's 1 in 36. There's something wrong.
The president saying he tasked Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. with finding out why. Kennedy, the founder of a prominent anti-vaccine activist group, has spread false claims linking autism and vaccines. Though at his recent confirmation hearing, Kennedy defended his views.
News reports have claimed that I'm anti-vaccine or anti-industry. I am neither. I am pro-safety.
And this week, amid a growing measles outbreak in Texas and New Mexico, health officials reported an unvaccinated adult tested positive for measles after dying.
How concerned are you that this CDC study could spread vaccine skepticism and maybe even harm the public?
I think it already has because of the concern. Well, if the government is studying it, then all those scientists and doctors who told me there was no link must have been lying. And that's how the misinformation starts.
Tonight, the Trump administration not responding to questions about how the study will be conducted, when results are expected, or how much money will be spent. But for all health department employees, a new detailed offer: resign by 5 p.m. Friday, March 14th, and walk away with a $25,000 lump sum payment, according to a person who received the email and an administration
All right, so you guys, clearly that lady there wasn't open to the idea of vaccines being related to the rise of autism, but the CDC has at least acknowledged the possibility. Now, what I will say this, I'll end this autism bit on this note. There may be a connection. I'm not going to deny that, but what I will say is that we should apply Occam's razor here, and I really do think that. Personally, it is due to the expansion of the definition of the clinicalization of all of human social interactions and the pathology that we have basically pathologized every aspect of human interaction as well. This is largely due to the feminization of psychology and the medical industry, as well as academic industries, as we have come to see, as well as related to that. That is related to the medical industry. So I do think there is something to be said there. Now, I don't want to trivialize the possibility of it being environmental exposures. I don't want to trivialize the potential dangers that vaccines do pose against us, the potential risks that follow through vaccines. Operation Warp Speed, not ideal, okay? It clearly was, it brought to a lot of question into the veracity of these vaccines and whether or not they truly are helpful, whether they are healthy. I understand. But at the same time, I was a fan of Project Warp Speed. I am a fan of vaccines ultimately because it keeps us healthy. It does. It really does. We have seen the death toll. The mortality rate completely expand up until people can live up to their 80s and so forth. Back maybe even 60 years ago, that was not conceivable. The medical industry have done great strides to lead us to where we are now. COVID has killed that. COVID has completely shattered our faith in the medical industry, and myself included. But it goes without saying, as far as autism is concerned, we have to look at the psychology industry, the psychology cartel, as I like to call it, en bloc. We have to look at it en masse and see what else are they pushing. Not only have you probably seen a rise in autism, you've seen a rise in other diagnoses. Do you guys remember the whole Tourette's fad of 2020? There have been a complete spike in the diagnosis of Tourette's among young girls since COVID and during COVID. It's because it's a social contagion, just like transgenderism. So I think that's what's going on here. But you guys share what your thoughts, all your autistic thoughts. Let me know if you are autistic. If you are, welcome to the Culturama stream. It is a safe space for you and probably a perfect show for you. So welcome. And if you are autistic or not, may I encourage you to go to the ap4libertyshop.com to get yourself a Culturama pillow or a bag of coffee. Once again, that is the letter A, the letter P, the number 4, libertyshop.com. I'll drop it in the chat. You guys stand back and stand by. I am going to be bringing up the next story. And this, let me see what I have actually in store for you. I think it has to do with the Karmelo Anthony case, you guys. All right, I'll be talking about Karmelo Anthony next. It's a little dark, but it's necessary to talk about. Everyone, I will be right back. Stay tuned.
I thought the world would turn slower, not as fast as it does. Conservative hearts were steady, sure, and just because. A simpler time of values, when right was what it was. It seems like those days vanished with just a fleeting pause.
Right-wing dreams of yesterday, steady in the fray, keeping timeless traditions, leading all the way.
Times are changing, feel the buzzing, staying true when they're fussing. Keep the flag a-flying through stormy nights. With the star-spangled banner, I stand tall with manners. Cross my heart with hope in sight. Here comes freedom in the land of hope and free, with liberty. Stick to values in the trends. Families gather, let's defend. Hold the line, keep the bond alive. Truth in our vision, in God we make decisions. For our dream, true, thrive and strive. Here comes freedom in the land of hope and free, with liberty. We'll keep fighting for what's right, standing strong in the night. Here comes freedom in the land of hope and bravery, with liberty. In the heart they gather strong, pushing back the lefty's throng. With the red banner held high, marching forward through the night. Promises of old will keep as the donkeys start to weep. Stars and stripes forever sway, in the land of the brave we stay. We've got the power now, in the heart of every town. We've got the power now, the Reds are going down.
With a flagpole planted firm,
Golden dreams that won't decay, marching proudly through the day. In the eagle's shadow by, we find our strength and take our pride. Let the voices echo loud, tearing through the waiting crowd. We've got the power now, in the heart of every town. We've got the power now, the Reds are going down. Across the plains and mountains tall, hear the victory call. With courage and with might we strive, in the light of freedom's sky. We got the power now, in the heart of every town. We've got the power now, the Reds are going down.
Okay, everyone, welcome back to Culturama. Please like and share the stream. Send in your Rumble rants, especially as we will come to be talking about this very contentious subject. Yes, we will be talking about the Karmelo Anthony case, you guys. A Karmelo Anthony presser has incited a big debate today about race relations in America, so let's watch it here. For those that don't know, breaking, Austin Metcalf's father, once again, the white teen who was slain by Karmelo Anthony at a track meet just a couple weeks ago. His father, the one that had forgiven Karmelo Anthony nearly hours after his son was slain, has attended a press conference for Karmelo Anthony and his family. And he was asked to leave. This is, once again, the victim's father was asked to leave. This is the response.
And all I'm going to say, so it don't be asked later, is that was disrespectful and just shows you.
I want you guys to know they're talking about the father of the victim whose son's life was taken away from him, just attended the press conference. They're talking about the victim's father. They're saying it was disrespectful.
Don't be asked later, is that was disrespectful and just shows you all the character who is not invited. He knows that it's inappropriate to be near this family, but he did it. And so I say to people, actions speak louder than words.
Yeah, they do. You know
Okay.
what action speaks really loud? When you stab someone in the chest multiple times and take their life. I'll keep my mouth shut.
What
Sorry.
he has spilled into is the political operatives that want to make this thing a political thing of hate, yet bigotry, and yet racism. We have conservative operatives that have been posting nonstop about this case. And all I'm going to say, so it don't be asked.
So that happened. Here is another clip detailing this event. Dallas police have arrived, and Austin Metcalf's father is leaving the news conference where Karmelo Anthony's parents are scheduled to speak publicly for the first time. Okay, so the police have come. This is, I believe, the father right here. They're talking to him, and as far as I've been told or I've heard, he was refusing to leave for a bit there. So he was a bit stubborn, but you can see people are, congregating around him, and you can see them making kind of a scene there. Once again, oh, here's more clips. Let's watch this one. Those are parents.
Start off this press conference to say something as a deep note that I can tell America.
This is, and by the way, you guys, this guy is representing Karmelo Anthony. He is with NGAN. We're going to look at them in a minute, but they have ties to BLM, and they basically offer bail. They offer bail coverage money for people, perpetrators like this. So these people have direct connections to BLM and engage in some pretty weird and I would say demoralizing behaviors. But I can't exactly hear what he's saying here, but he is a representative. And they're the ones that I would say I think are partially responsible. Granted, it was the judge who made the final ruling, but we're partially responsible in getting the bond reduced. I'm sorry, the bail reduced to $250,000 as opposed to over $1 million. So the family complains that Frisco ISD plans to expel Karmelo Anthony from school 1 month before his scheduled graduation, which is true. I have right here, Frisco plans to expel Karmelo Anthony following the fatal stabbing. It took this long for them to make the decision, but here we are. They finally did. They asked the district to allow him to continue with his schoolwork. So basically, what these parents want is that their son have just taken a life from, a fellow teenager, and they want his life to be completely back to normal. He is not apparently doesn't seem to be going to prison anytime soon. His bail has been reduced quite significantly. He's back home with his family. Granted, he has to wear an ankle monitor, but they also want him now to resume his studies and maybe even become a scholar in college. So this is a reality we're facing. And so basically, they're acting like the victims here. Obviously, I don't have to spell out to you what's happening here, but these people are quite entitled, okay? His family are extremely entitled. And it's frankly disgusting. I don't understand where they're coming from. I really don't understand why they think they can get away with this. But as a cherry on top is that the father of the victim, once again, attended this press conference where the parents are speaking out for the first time, and he was treated like garbage. He was treated like the enemy. And again, I want to remind you guys, this father went out publicly like hours. I'm talking maybe a couple hours after his son was killed, and said that he's forgiven Karmelo Anthony. Just like that. And he said it was a Christian thing to do. And you know what? I even said, yeah, he's talking like your typical Protestant evangelical Christian even. Like, this is how they think. This is what they say. I'm in those circles. I understand where he's coming from. People said it was one giant psyop. I don't think so. I think the guy was trying to do the real Christian thing. But he gets spit on. And by this unsavory individual right here, treats him like this father did something wrong by attending this press conference. And to make it even more trashy, you guys, Karmelo Anthony's family's launched a website for those that are wanting to burn some money. And they're selling T-shirts. I don't even know I don't know what to say to this, you guys. I don't know what to say to this. This is a website. So, Justice for Karmelo. Okay? This is the website they launched. I wanna review this website step by step with you guys, okay? Justice for Karmelo. Hang on to your seats, everyone. Join us in our mission to create awareness and stand for justice. What justice? I don't know. Karmelo Anthony, 17 years old, born in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Just a small town kid. Hold on. Just a small town kid, raised in a loving two-parent household, just so we're not mistaken here. His family moved to Texas for more opportunities. Karmelo was a 4.0 student, a football team captain, a leader, protector, and role model. Yeah, he was a real protector. Yes. Role model, too. I don't know if they want to put that on the website. That could get kind of dicey right now. Karmelo Anthony is a kind of young man that every parent hopes to raise. I'm going to read that out loud for you guys one more time. Okay? Karmelo Anthony is the kind of kid every young... I'm sorry, Karmelo Anthony. This is so bad. I'm already getting tripped up on the words. I'm sorry. Karmelo Anthony is a kind of young man every parent hopes to raise. Parents out there that happen to watch me, do you want to raise someone like Karmelo Anthony? In other words, do you want to raise a 17-year-old who kills another 17-year-old? Not for self-defense, not for protecting like his girlfriend or his family or, his friend. No, he just killed him for no reason, for being asked to get out of a seat. Yes, they're treating him like a hero. This is a real Rosa Parks moment. Absolutely. Anyways, he speaks with respect. He takes care of his younger siblings and little cousins. He works hard, stays out of trouble, carries himself with dignity. Was he carrying himself with dignity before or after he told the police that he killed Austin Metcalf? Just wondering. I like the brown and black scheme here. Very interesting color choice, by the way. Like, I'm going to be real with you guys. When I saw this website, I thought it was like a joke. I thought this was made by I'm going to be real with you guys. I thought this was made by some like Trump person, some graper, some like far right, just to like make fun of the situation. I really did. I genuinely thought this was a joke. It's not a joke. This is the world we're living here. Welcome to planet Earth, everybody. Welcome. Also, Bruiser55, you're howdy friends. Welcome, Bruiser55. Thank you for joining the Culturama stream. We have lower numbers today. It is Easter weekend, I guess. I don't have the Easter decorations up, unfortunately. I forgot, but I will have them up for the gaming stream on Saturday. So I hope to see you guys there. But let's continue. But thank you and welcome, Bruiser. I hate everything about this story, says Barney Styles. Yeah, Barney, me too. It's quite depressing. I forgot this whole time. No one told me. The live chat has been turned off. You guys, where's the live chat? I didn't have the live chat. There we go. There's the live chat. When I don't have the live chat on, you guys let me know because I like having the live chat on. Okay. Nothing worse than losing a child. I agree, Barney Styles. Karmelo the hero. Okay, let's continue, guys. It gets better. Okay, on May 15th, 2021, Karmelo saw a child drowning. Without hesitation, without thinking twice about his own safety, he acted. He didn't think twice in the stabbing either, let me tell you. He didn't wait, he didn't panic, he saved a life. This young man embodies integrity, loyalty, and heart. And just like he stood by Gino, is how you say the name? When it mattered most, we're standing by him now. We are also deeply saddened by the loss of life. Our hearts and prayers go out to the family of the fallen one. They don't even want to say his name, which is really odd and creepy. I think the fallen one. Just say his name. Say his name. Say his name. Austin Metcalf. Say his name. Why don't you want to say his name? That's really weird. Okay, no words can ease the pain, but please know we extend our deepest condolences and hold your family close in our thoughts. What happened on that tragic day will never be erased. But just as people often dig up someone's past to judge their character, let this moment speak loudly to Karmelo's true nature, a protector, a friend, a hero. Thank you, Karmelo. We see you. We stand with you always. Hashtag free Karmelo. Hashtag stand with Karmelo. Hashtag justice for Karmelo. This is a really sick and warped definition of justice if I've ever heard one. Robbie Thurman, thank you for joining the stream with the little time that you have. You're saying you're checking in, really sick, going back to sleep now. Love y'all. Thank you so much, Robbie Thurman. We love you too. Hope you get better. I've been there last week. I was very sick. I hope you get better. I'm sorry if you have the same thing I did because it was brutal. Oh my, this is like American Pie. Say my name, bitch. And like I said, for those that want to burn some money, there is the t-shirts, and the t-shirts are about as graphically pleasing as you think. Nothing, I mean, it doesn't hold a candle to the Culturama t-shirts, but oh boy, look at that design. How can you beat that design, you guys? Wow. Beautiful. So I'm just looking through the rest. They have the shop. They have one product on the shop. I like the minimalism. It's simple. Contact. There's no contact. They only have a form. Let's see what they have on Instagram. If they have an Instagram up. I didn't actually look through this. So Wix. Okay. This is a Wix site. So it links to the Wix Instagram and Twitter, I presume. Okay. Yeah, this is all done by Wix, so it's very shoddily done. Makes sense. I've used Wix before. I understand. When you gotta grift fast. So what better service to rely on than Wix to grift? Sorry, I had to see my desktop there for a second. But so here we go. Karmelo Anthony has now merch with his face on it. He's a celebrity, you guys. He made it big. Because of course he does. Imagine cashing in on a murder like this. Disgusting.
You gotta tap in. And you know what it is. Tweet A, tapping in. Anybody who fuck with me, fuck with my music, you gotta fuck with Karmelo Anthony, man. Justice for my dog. Website coming soon. You gotta
my
tap
God.
in, man. Yeah. And you know what it is. Tweet A, tapping in.
So like in situations like this, I don't know whether to laugh or to cry. I prefer to laugh just to cope. Better than crying. But let's just be real here for a second. Truly a sickening situation. These people really have no remorse. They have no empathy. His parents acting like, or then the individual who is representing them, who was talking down to the father of Anthony, Austin Metcalf. No soul. Not only is it's beyond disrespectful. It's not human. It's sickening how they're treating the situation. And all I gotta say is that I really do hope that his parents and the family single-handed. I said this on Twitter earlier today. I really hope they continue selling t-shirts, and I hope they continue selling. Maybe they'll make some mugs and, make some more merchandise to really show and expose the nature of these grifts such as BLM, by the way. And this family will single-handedly drive operations and organizations like BLM to the ground, to irrelevancy, because your average salt-of-the-earth American will look at this story and say that this is absolutely ridiculous, especially white salt-of-the-earth Americans, in the Midwest and whatnot, will look at this and say, what is going on? Race relations, say what you will about them in America. Yes, they're not perfect, but it's people like this who just make it absolutely worse. It's not the other way around, at least not anymore. This is Karmelo Anthony's mother, Kayla Hayes. Says here she speaks publicly for the first time in the press conference since the accused of her 17-year-old Austin Metcalf. Okay? Let's listen to her.
My 13-year-old daughter is afraid to sleep in her own bedroom because she's fearful of what may happen to her. And let me be clear, the claims that were used about the public donation to buy a home or anything else are completely false. My 13-year-old daughter.
That really sucks, lady. But why are you acting like the victim here? A woman such as yourself lost her son just like a little over a week ago. Why are they acting like the victims? To the family that experienced loss, my heart truly goes out to you. Let's listen to this.
For the family who experienced the loss, my heart truly goes out to you. To those who have supported my family,
your family doesn't need support. Your son killed somebody. Okay, I've covered that. Okay, so removed from all of this, from the story, we do have other people coming out, and of course making this a bigger issue than it is. Let's listen to this clip.
Hey, to all of the people who are against Karmelo Anthony, me as a black man in America, white people, I'm telling you and I'm telling you now, you ever even think to approach me, bully me, harass me, think you're going to be with your twin brother or twin whatever, and do anything to me, I too will poke you as well. Straight to the heart. And that's on self-defense. This is not the Jim Crow era. This ain't 400 years ago. This ain't 1619. This ain't back in them days. Y'all don't want to end up like Austin. Leave black people alone. Y'all didn't play fair for 400 years. We ain't playing fair with y'all either.
Very sane and stable behavior. Right there, we had a very sane and stable genius. It's almost as if these people want a race war. They do. People who push BLM, people who push these leftist, subversive movements are wanting to agitate both sides here. I don't know who this person is, but looks like they're called King. What are they called? Of course, they're called King Gene T 1989. This guy, I don't know what his story is, but very, very sane and stable behavior. This happened just the other day. You guys probably didn't hear about it. Drive-by shooting in northwestern Minnesota town. Police says James Hamilton, 39, was murdered by Jerome Thomas, 35, and Moorhead. Thomas then fled to Ishpeming in the UP with his girlfriend. So in the midst of all this, I didn't hear this case. Did you guys? Apparently this happened. We don't know the I don't know the cause of this. I don't know the reason why the shooter had slain this individual, but something tells me the mainstream media doesn't want this brought up. Okay. Okay, we have. Hold on a second. I saw the donations. Don't you guys worry. We have. Holy moly, you guys. We have $50 in donations by Bucks Nasty, Hero, Monster Kill. Bucks Nasty, you're amazing. Thank you so much for your donation, and your comments and your support of Culturama. You are highly appreciated. Thank you so much. I'll be bringing out Leo in the next segment. Perfect timing. I'm going to be talking about Pitbulls some more in the next segment as well when I bring Leo out. So, Bucks Nasty, you have unlocked. Hold on a second. Where is it? There it is. You have the Beast Meter, Bucks Nasty, in the nick of time when we're going to be talking about Pitbulls here in the next segment. Also, you guys, the Liberty Tonight show is not showing tonight, so if I end up going a little bit overtime, that's perfectly fine. So Leo will have plenty of time with us as well, okay? Thank you so much, Bucks Nasty. And I'll be bringing him out after the commercial break. And, of course, we have $5 from Row House. Thank you so much, Row House, and thank you so much for appearing on the show and coming in the stream today. Okay, you said $5. Daniela, in your view, is it impossible to rectify relations with said group? Even when they kill you, there's just celebration, zero apologies. Very good and salient question, Row House. And I will admit it is difficult to answer because it does seem like it is hopeless right now. It really does. I think right now in the state of race relations in America, it is so toxic. it seemingly is impossible. I'm not going to say it is impossible because I don't want to be that person. And I don't want this to be that kind of a show. I want us to have faith that things can get better. And I know they can get better. I truly have, utmost faith in the human spirit and human ingenuity to hopefully make American civilization and Western civilization better, even considering the past sins of our history. Because the United States, obviously the founding of the country, great story, but we don't have a perfect story. Slavery was a reality in this country, as it was in many other countries. How we will come to, I really do think that we've acknowledged it beyond the point of just sanity. I think that slavery does still happen in Eastern countries to this day. But somehow we're supposed to be the whipping boy in that globally even. So I don't understand why. It's very concerning to me and very strange. I don't think, our sins of the past should have any bearing on our conversations today. Don't believe in reparations. I don't believe, obviously you have to teach these realities in school. But I don't believe in promoting this negative agenda that has been pushed through critical race theory and other elements of cultural Marxism in K through 12 education and beyond. I think that's very toxic, and that is a main contributor for negative race relations in America today and right now, especially in the 21st century. I will say that I do believe that it is possible to rectify race relations in America and make it better, but it will not be as easy. It will take quite a bit of time, and the step towards the right direction in that is to peel back on some education curriculum and some education policies even that we have been facing lately in this country, especially with the introduction of critical race theory. I think the first way to rectify this behavior, you have to start from the children and within the K through 12 classrooms. And then, from there, hopefully, we can repair some beliefs in some communities. Because if you talk to your average American, offline, you will come to find out that people are, for the most part, pretty stable and sane, and most people want positive relations. But you do have that vocal minority on both sides that just don't want that. And that is unfortunate. And yes, we have to deal with those political realities. But we have to drop the reparations angle. We have to drop the slavery angle. We have to drop certain rhetoric that the left and especially the education left has been pushing to brainwash our students. So I think that's the first step towards the right direction. The second step, of course, is ameliorating the cultural effects in Black communities. Black culture, I'm sorry to say, you guys, is abysmal. The fatherlessness in that culture is abysmal. It's the main contributor for a lot of the issues in the Black community and what frustrates them so much. But instead of addressing it themselves, some do try to address it, of course. But they will try to pin that on the sins of the past and try to pin that on the systems that are already in place. And until we can address that, until we can address the causes for the negative culture surrounding Black community, the causes for fatherlessness, for gang violence, for gang culture, that is contributing to this, that is contributing to the violence, and I will say is contributing to the increase of mental illness within Black communities, that actually needs probably more psychologists than the white people do, because white people will clinicalize everything. There is a real mental illness epidemic in Black communities, primarily due to those cultural factors. And it isn't talked about a lot. It's uncomfortable to talk about, but it's true. And thankfully, we have conservative pundits that are coming out like Matt Walsh, Charlie Kirk, even in some cases Ben Shapiro, coming out and talking about that because it is becoming unbearable in American society. But it needs to be addressed. Keeping fathers in families, having a good curriculum in schools, I think are the right steps towards ameliorating race relations in America? I know it's a really long answer, but I hope I've answered that, row house. I know it's a very generic answer, but it's the best one I can give right now. And we also have a donation from Entropy Nomad. Thank you so much, Entropy Nomad, for joining the Culturama stream today. You asked, does this all stem from the great filter that is white woman? Whole math has a case. Let me see, Entropy. Are you referring to like in education, or avoiding accountability sounds like another class of society? This does stand for the great filter that is white woman. Whole math has a case. Either I'm retarded, Entropy Nomad, or I'm trying to determine what you're. I'm trying to figure out what you're asking here. Are you saying like white women will like ignore, or I mean, I think I get what you're saying. It's usually white women who will dilute the culture and will accept cultures like this. Does this all stem from the great filter that is white woman? Ho math has a case. Entropy Nomad, I'm having an autism moment. I'm trying to decipher what you're asking me there. But I will say, if you're asking about the effects of white women on education and greater society, yes. White women in particular, as we've come to find out, through statistics, through data analysis, and through this show, like we've talked about, a lot of the policies, especially that we have been seeing being pushed in relation to like immigration, for instance, open border policy, a lot of it is, oh, Whole Math is a YouTube channel. Okay. Oh, thank God. I was really confused about the math part. Yeah, I don't watch Whole Math. I'm familiar. White women at NPR will make statements like blacks are a threat in a white neighborhood, but not other way around. Yeah, I don't watch Whole Math, so I wouldn't know what you're referring to there, but white women specifically are, well, I would say it's educated women in America in general. You do see this with minorities as well. You just shared a post, Entropy Nomad. Let me check that out. White woman as a great filter confirmed. And oh wow, there's a Wikipedia page on this? Hold on a second. The great filter is an idea that in the development of life from the early stages of abiogenesis to reaching the highest levels of development, oh my gosh, there's a great barrier to development that makes detectable extraterrestrial life exceedingly rare. Let's do a deep dive here. Entropy Nomad. I'm gonna do a deep dive with you, Entropy Nomad. Hold on a second. Let me just exit out of all these tabs here. You just sent me a DM, Entropy Nomad. That's not you, Entropy Nomad. Where are you? Because my phone's about to die, so here we go. Okay, you shared a xenocosmography post, in other words, Nick Land. Am I allowed to say that? I don't know if I'm allowed to say that. Has he been doxxed yet? Did you guys know this is Nick Land? Rabbit hole time, exactly. So, white woman as a great filter. This is a phrase I have yet to come to figure out. But thankfully, this individual asked, can you elaborate what the great filter is? And then they linked to a Wikipedia page. And this is what it says, okay? The great filter is an idea that in the development of life, from the earliest stages of abiogenesis to reaching the highest levels of development in the Kardashev scale, there is a barrier of development that makes it a detectable extraterrestrial life exceedingly rare. The great filter is an impossible resolution for the Fermi paradox. The main conclusion of the great filter is that it is an inverse correlation between the probability that other life could evolve to the present stage in which currently humanity is. Oh, okay. Correlation between the probability that other life could evolve to the present stage in which humanity is and the chances of humanity survive in the future. Yeah, okay. A human extinction, yes. I mean, I don't know if this article is what it's meant to define this as, but are white women the great filter? I don't know if it's white women specifically, but I will say this, Entropy Nomad, I do very much see women being the great filter in general. Women are a very interesting and perplexing species we are. And, you know, it's not all women, of course, but it is a great deal of us. Red line. Yeah, okay. All right, we're going to stop there. So, this is home math. So what we learned is that if you work really hard for about 40,000 years and build sturdy shelters and effective weapons, win wars, keep your women safe, capture animals and breed them into domesticated food source, build castles in the sky, invent sailing ships, and get so comfortable that entertainment becomes one of your biggest industries because no one has to struggle to survive. Someone will figure out that you say boys are mean on the devices you invented. Then those women you kept safe will go, yeah, let's make everyone and everything die. Yeah, this is, I agree. Okay, so I have a lot of thoughts about this. I'm a firm believer that women are the gatekeepers of life, and I don't just mean childbirth. I also mean in beyond, like in more greater social aspects than that. Women are the gatekeepers in a lot in society, and another aspect of that is death. I've written a whole essay about this in college once, especially when it comes to menstruation. If you look at especially primitive cultures, primitive Eastern cultures, before the development into major religions like Hinduism and Buddhism, there are a lot of rituals surrounding about a woman menstruating. And a lot of these, my personal theory was that people treat this as just like a coming of age ritual, and it's necessary for like fecundity and fertility. It's essential to recognize those for, you know, for the promulgation of your tribe, right? So that's what our general consensus is. I think it goes beyond that, because if you see some of these tribes that did these coming of age rituals for young girls ended up also, worshiping female deities beyond this. So like, how do I explain this? There's this ritual in Tibet where they will find a prepubescent girl before she gets her period, and they end up worshiping her as a devi, as a goddess. So you see a lot of rituals like that. And what I've come to find out, and my personal belief, is that menstruation is indicative of a woman having some source of control in society. That's when she's becoming sexually active, and this is where women become the gatekeepers of society, essentially. Women have a lot of power in society, and a lot of them, for some reason, don't want to acknowledge that, especially in the modern world, which is very odd to me, because women have basically in the entirety of society at their disposal right now, because they have the benefit of being a woman, and they can choose to have less agency in society, but they also can choose to have agency in society and have decision-making powers if they act accordingly. And women still want to be the victim. And this has always frustrated me. I don't understand this. But anyways, to stay on topic, what I will say, to agree with you, Rohaus, is that if this is what the great filter means, I agree, yes, women are the great filter in society. I don't think it's just white women, though. Okay? I'm getting ahead of myself. Talk about autism. $5 again from Entropy Nomad. Thank you so much, Entropy Nomad. You wrote, thank you, Danielle, for being on top of things. The great filter is what stops us from going to Mars. We fall into constant war and stop producing specialists, all due to the 19th. Beautifully said, Entropy. Thank you for your definition. I could have just read your donation, but I think I've answered your question there. So, women have power over men. Men have power over relationships. Women have power over sex. Men have power over relationships. I kind of agree with that, Bucks Nasty. I don't know if I entirely agree. I just haven't seen that, I haven't seen that personally play out, but especially these days with the increase of virginity. But I can see that being the case classically. I see Leo as being the great filter, Daniela. Exactly, Rowhouse. Thank you for bringing us back to Planet Earth, Rowhouse. I'm going to be bringing Leo next, you guys. Stay tuned. I'm getting ahead of myself. I will be right back. I will get him out. I will get what you guys paid for. Stay tuned.
Well, here comes Daniela like Marilyn with a twist. She's got a master's degree and a style you can't resist. On Culturama, baby, we're shaking up the scene. So hit that like, make it click, you know what we mean. Like and subscribe, come on, don't delay. With Daniela at the helm, we're leading the way. It's Culturama, taking back tomorrow today.
You have to force behaviors, and at BlackRock, we are forcing behaviors.
Mao ordered his citizens to throw off the 4 olds. Old thinking, old culture, old customs, and old habits. So, your whole life went in the garbage overnight, no biggie. And those who resisted were attacked by an army of purifiers called the Red Guard, who went around the country putting dunce caps on people. Yeah. Who didn't take to being a new kind of mortal being.
If you don't force behaviors, whether it's gender or race or just any way you want to say the composition of your team, you're going to be impacted.
Well, things haven't been so sweet for Ben & Jerry's after the company posted an anti-American tweet, a few of them, on the 4th of July. The ice cream makers declared the United States was founded on stolen indigenous land.
Well, someone should tell Target that, because they're now selling swimsuits with tuckums in the women's section of the store. And they even have a line just for kids.
Yeah, we're going to reach out to Ben & Jerry's and ask them how they can live with themselves as they operate a multi-billion-dollar company on stolen land while declaring other people give up their so-called stolen land.
This is the child section. This is literally the kids section. I'm next to a literal onesie that says whatever the hell that means. We have "Glad You Came Out" and "I'm so happy that you're queer" in the kids section. Are you kidding me? I'm sorry, but pride and toddler don't belong in the same sentence.
Good news! Starbucks will offer its workers reimbursement of travel expenses related to accessing abortion and gender-affirming procedures.
Kyle Rittenhouse was seen wearing a Black Rifle Coffee Company shirt, and they wanted to distance themselves from that individual. Key employees at the company also were donating to Democrats. Hafer doubled down on throwing many in his base under the bus, describing them as racist and a repugnant group of people.
Hey, Liberty lovers, stop scrolling, because if you're tired of the same old news, then I've got just the wake-up call for you. I want to thank you for tuning in to Culturama, and I know that you're enjoying every minute of it. Join us at rumble.com/AP4Liberty. The Wake Up America show is Mondays through Fridays, 7 to 9 a.m. Central Time. It's a great way to start your day. Coffee's optional, but waking up is mandatory. Remember, at Wake Up America, we'll keep you sharp, we'll keep you laughing, most of all, we'll keep you free. I'll see you in the morning.
With your goofy little body.
is a genetic abnormality. He is 3, I believe, or 4 generations inbred. He has extra toes, he is missing teeth, and he has extra nipples, everyone. Give him up.
Oh, my little chihuahua, you run so fast. With your goofy little bark, always having a blast. When you dance on your paws, like you're on a spree. Chasing your tail. Oh, what joy you bring me. My tiny furry friend. You light up my day. In your 1950 style, let's dance and play.
So you guys did unlock the Leo goal. Thank you so much for your consistent donations, everyone. I'm going to have to figure out a new donation goal. I might have to up the price a little bit because you guys keep getting him out. But Leo loves to be on the show. He's a little bit more mellow. As you can see, he's falling asleep. So I think he will stay on the stream with us here a little longer. But excuse me. But thank you, everyone that has donated to the Leo goal on this very wacky Easter related episode, I suppose. And he does have his Easter garb here. See, there he is. He has a cross on. He's wearing pink. So there we go. Okay. So like I said, since I have Leo out, I know I talked about pit bulls last stream, but I do want to talk about it again because there has been an uptick in attacks. So bear with me. I'm going to be pulling up these stories here. I didn't do it during the commercial break. So let me get out the stories here, everyone. Yes, Leo. Yes. Here we go. Whoop, whoop. Not yet, not yet. Got my videos out here. Okay. So, for those of you that have not been present during the last stream on Tuesday, I've talked about an attack that happened in Ohio. A pit bull has attacked an infant. And this has kind of made major news. It was all over the news. And if you read the article, people are a bit mystified as to why this had occurred. Well, I'll explain why. Roja asks, today is Thursday, so is it the day Danielle has to end early? Rojas, the Liberty Tonight show is not streaming today. They had other plans, so I'm kind of free. I can stream for as long as I want. So yeah, I know you want to go to the gym today. I'm sorry to say, but today's a day where I can stream extra long. It's just a one Thursday. I consider it a Easter surprise, an Easter miracle, as it were. Yeah, Liberty Tonight is not on tonight, Rowhouse. It is Leo's dream that someday everyone everywhere will know the joy of his extra nipples, writes Barney Styles. Beautifully said, Barney Styles. Where's there we go. Thank you, Barney Styles. We have usurped Liberty tonight, writes Mr. Pig. Not quite. Oh, you got back. Okay, welcome. Welcome back, Mr. Rowhouse. That was quick. Tyranny tonight, writes Smith. This is tyranny tonight right here. Okay. So Leo, relax. So last stream on Tuesday, I talked about a pit bull attack that had occurred in Ohio. I tried to find the New York Post article about it, but I could not find it. I think they scrubbed it. Maybe I missed it. But an infant was mauled to death by a pit bull. Her parents had owned 3 pit bulls. Here is a brief article explaining it. They had an AI-generated image here. This is not how the infant looked like. But this article states an infant girl had lost her life after being attacked by one of the family's pit bulls. As you go on to read this article, it basically spells out how the parents are completely mystified as to why this would be the case. But we all know why this is the case. Last stream, I talked about during an offensive statistics segment that pit bulls, and I will just say this percentage, you guys, so bear with me. Pit bulls account for about 6, maybe 7% of the entire dog population of America. And they account for 65 to 70% of all fatal dog attacks in America. Okay? Once again, 6% of the dog population, 70% of the crime. Okay? This is absolutely horrendous. Okay? And I said it, you guys also say it. Why are we allowed to refer to breed-specific history for all other dog breeds but the pit bull? Maybe it's because a pit bull is inherently violent. But the reason why I want to talk about this with you guys here today is that there has been an uptick recently of these attacks. And I want to talk about it with you guys.
The horror.
Let me see if I can make this bigger. Here we go.
Across the street on South Champion Avenue.
Makes me just shake to just think about the horror.
Across the street on South Champion Avenue, Nanny and Charles Jarvis in disbelief as they learned from Columbus police that a little girl was attacked and killed by one of her family's dogs. Police confirming the little girl died at the hospital after being attacked in their home. Police aren't releasing the specifics of what happened as Animal Care and Control now take over the investigation. 3 dogs were removed from the home. Officers described the scene as a difficult one.
The officers who arrived, family, everyone involved in this process is literally grieving as if this child belonged to us.
Sergeant Fuqua says that criminal charges aren't expected, describing it as a tragic accident.
Makes me just shake to just think about it.
This is the thing. I've talked about this on Austin Peterson's morning show today. This is not a tragic accident. And anyone that knows anything about dogs that's worth their salt knows this was not a tragic accident. Pit bulls are bioweapons. Let's say it with me, you guys. Pit bulls are bioweapons. Pit bulls are bioweapons. Pit bulls are bioweapons. Like we've talked about in the last stream, their breed-specific history was meant for really 3 things. Well, actually just 1 thing in total, but 3 things specifically. Pit bulls were bred for blood sport. Okay? They were bred for, number 1, attacking each other in dogfights. Number 2, attacking bulls in a process in a game, I guess that's called bull baiting, where you set dogs out against a bull to kill it. And number 3, for ratting. The amount of rats or mice a dog can kill in a duration of time. And bets were placed on blood sports back then in Europe. Unfortunately, this was a common practice back then. And so they bred these dogs for that specific purpose. These dogs are bioweapons. They're no different than owning a cougar. They're no different than owning a bear. Maybe it's not that bad, but they are violent. And we will not blink an eye if you require extra papers, certain barriers to the ownership of certain animals like bears, cougars, whatnot, lynxes, big cats, lions, tigers, bears, or certain licenses to own them or even to breed them. But when it comes to dogs, God forbid, it is essential for Americans to understand that genetic history, that breed-specific history is important. And for some reason, we don't want to. Okay, let's read this next or watch this next clip. This happened a month ago, but that this was another attack in Ohio where a American pit bull decided to attack a Rottweiler.
Is left with a $1,300 vet bill, and the attacking dog is still loose.
Thank you, Nelson65. Nelson65 said it in the comments. Pit bulls are bioweapons. Yes, they are. Thank you, Nelson65. Leo, of course, isn't, but we'll talk about him in a second here.
Jasmine Richardson knows.
I'm so concerned because if that would have not been a Rottweiler or a bigger dog, if that was a smaller dog, that dog would have been dead. Like, I'm a vet tech, and I know, like, I've seen a lot of dog fights, and that was horrible.
Richardson says the pit bull tore open her dog's stitches from a previous surgery. It bit his ears, paws, front legs, and mouth. Her kids were getting ready for school at the time and saw the whole thing.
I was up for like 24 hours or more. My kids were very traumatized, having nightmares. One didn't want to sleep in his room by himself. And my kids love Big Mac. That's their baby.
She rushed Big Mac to the vet and called the police and dog warden. Richardson says before they could do anything, they wanted proof the pit bull went back to her neighbor's house.
It's like, well, I wasn't worried about filming. I'm worried about my dog and his safety.
She says a deputy warden went back to the neighbor's house today, but didn't find the dog. The neighbors also claim it's not their dog.
I really want laws in place to where that it wouldn't even have to come to someone getting bit. I don't know what that would entail, but I don't think it should take someone getting attacked for a dog to be looked after.
Sure, you can stop watching.
Sorry, I know you got Leo's not on the camera, but yes, thank goodness it was just Rottweiler. At least Rottweilers can defend themselves, but as we will come to see, pit bulls have no mercy for the dead nor the alive, or no mercy for the dead, no mercy for those that are alive. I said this in my last stream. I'll say it again. As a Chihuahua owner, let's keep it appropriate here. I've owned a few Chihuahuas in my lifetime. I will own more in the future. What's interesting to me is that when it comes to as a Chihuahua owner, I'm very aware that Chihuahuas are very aggressive breeds. I know it's funny because they're tiny and they're cute and they're small, but it is true. Chihuahuas are very aggressive. They're neotenized dogs, and because of their genetic or breed specific history, they will end up being pretty aggressive. Leo, of course, is a special case here. Actually, Chihuahua breeders are working to outbreed or breed out those aggressive traits, which is very difficult to do. When you neotenize a creature, it turns out if you make something perpetually a child, it's going to be rather aggressive. But Chihuahuas are very aggressive. Everyone knows this. They actually have the highest bite count to any dog. They're just not deadly. But we're allowed to acknowledge that. When you go to a breeder, or even when you go to a shelter and you want to buy a type of dog, especially a toy breed dog. Toy breed dogs typically bite more. And they will always say, do you have children in the home? Are you aware that this dog will bite you? It's a common thing. When you get a husky or a larger dog like a border collie, if you go to a breeder or if you get them from the shelter, what they should tell you is that aren't you aware that this dog needs more activity? They need more physical exercise. That's what they're bred to do. It's not only in the case of their size, but as far as a border collie is concerned, that they need to run a lot. I mean, I know people that own border collies that didn't have access to a large property, and it is so bad for them. But certain dogs need certain levels of activity. They need certain temperaments. We acknowledge that, but we cannot acknowledge that when it comes to the pit bull. You cannot outbreed these traits. Like I said, there's like a certain people are trying to outbreed aggressive traits out of Chihuahuas. Have you guys seen a completely mellow Chihuahua other than Leo? Leo's just a little retarded, okay? He's inbred. He's going to be a little mellow. But for the most part, have you seen a Chihuahua that's completely mellow? No. It's like nearly impossible unless you create a new dog. Genetic history is so important if you want to, address certain aspects of society, if you want to have effective communication, and if you want to live in certain communities. You need to be aware of these things. There's another case. This happened just a couple days ago, just a few days after the Ohio story with the infant being mauled to death. A girl from Long Island, 9 years old, suffered extensive injuries after being mauled by a pit bull. Her name is Daniela, by the way. Daniela is lucky to be alive following a Saturday attack. He could have killed me if no one was there. Daniela was getting out of her car outside her house when a pooch charged her, biting her face. Very graphic. This is very sad and scary. Her dad intervened. This article goes on to say how her dad intervened and basically saved her life. But if it wasn't for her dad, the fourth grader would also be dead. So I won't read all of this, but this happened just a couple days after the Ohio story. And a pit bull owner in a fatal dog attack Santa Monica identified. Do you guys remember the poodle that I covered on Tuesday? On Tuesday, for a similar segment, I covered a poodle that was mauled to death in Santa Monica. At the time, for some reason, articles would not disclose the breed of the dog, but I found an article today acknowledging that it was in fact a pit bull. So, does this video play?
I bought my first model car when I was...
Leo, how do you feel about this case? Let me know. Not much to say today. It's okay, buddy. Let me try to keep you up higher so you can watch with us. He's very heavy. I'm waiting for this commercial to play out. Let's read. Santa Monica police have identified the owner of the pit bull that fatally attacked a toy poodle in Santa Monica. In a statement, the Santa Monica Police Department said that the pit bull owner involved was identified and that the city attorney would evaluate whether any municipal or criminal violations apply. We want to be transparent in acknowledging that under current law, many dog-on-dog attacks and related violations fall under civil or misdemeanor level offenses. Okay. But anyways, this acknowledges that it was in fact a pit bull. Let's watch this together. Again, this also happened. Just so you guys know the timeline, Ohio story happened just a couple of days ago. Long Island story happened Saturday, about a week ago. This story happened just a couple days ago as well. I think at the same time as the Ohio incident happened. So for some reason, all of a sudden, I don't know if this is a psyop or if this is all scheduled, but there has been a long string of incidents of pit bull attacks lately within the last several weeks.
To find the person walking the pit bull.
We've got Gigi Graciette live in Santa Monica with what we know so far. Gigi.
Bob and Araxia, good morning. Good morning, everyone. It happened here on Main and Strand Friday around 5:30 in the afternoon. And we want to warn you, the video is difficult to watch, especially when you know the little dog died.
Leo, cover your eyes.
Take a look. 5:30 in the afternoon, two people are walking Dublin, a little poodle, when they walked by a man who had a pit bull on a leash. They say that man was leaning into the window of a car talking to someone inside that car when the pit bull lunged at the poodle
Cover your
and
eyes,
would
Leo.
not release it. One of the two people tried their best to get the poodle away from the pit bull, punching it repeatedly as the man also struggled to get his dog under control.
Yeah, he is.
When the
I woke
dog
him up for
finally
this, you guys. He was
released
sleeping.
when the pit bull finally ran the dog.
I don't want to watch this because clearly I'm a dog owner, a small dog owner, so that actually makes me quite nervous. I don't really want to watch the video. But as a small dog owner, if I end up having a neighbor that has a pit bull, or I see a pit bull in a park, I ain't going near that. Okay, Leo, I'm sorry, but we are not going near pit bulls. I don't even like Leo going near any big dog. Generally, I'm pretty protective of him, as you guys can tell. Also, because Leo is very antisocial. But as a small dog owner, I obviously take this pretty personally. I don't want my dog getting eaten by no pit bull, right, Leo? And if you guys own small animals, it's not just, other dogs, cats, other animals, even bigger dogs, even yourselves to a degree, this is something we should all take seriously. Now, I've talked about this on Austin Peterson's show today, and we've talked about the freedom and the liberty for people to own certain breeds of dogs and certain animals. And part of me wants to say, yes, I do. I am a libertarian. I believe you should have the freedom to own creatures, certain creatures, but you also should have the specialized knowledge to do so. We're not going to let anyone just have a lion or a bear or a tiger. You need to have certain specializations set in place. I really do think the solution is related this way. I know we're not going to kill these dogs on sight, but we need to bring back breed-specific legislation. We need to prevent rent seekers from renting if they own these dogs in certain communities. Additionally, we should require licenses for the breeding of these dogs, and the ownership of these dogs. In fact, at this point, I'd even say right now, implement it now. And if someone owns a pit bull, and they don't have a license, confiscate the pit bull. Okay? Shelters may be filled up, but I'm not for kill shelters. I'm completely against kill shelters. I don't care I know there's like a whole debate about kill shelters. I don't believe in kill shelters. There's nothing you can tell me that will say we need kill shelters, even if there's an overpopulation of dogs. But what I will say is that we need to prevent the breeding of these dogs moving forward. Okay? I am saying implement a eugenic policy to have only certain breeds of dogs, none of which are pit bulls anymore. Or if you want pit bulls, you need to be a specialized breeder to do so, because we cannot have this anymore. Have you guys seen the statistics of these things? I'm serious. Have you guys seen the statistics? Let me see if I can pull them up for you. Pit bull attack statistics. Liberty requires accountability, says Bruiser. You need to be held accountable. Bruiser 55. I agree. I do believe we need licensing in place now, because what will come to happen is that people are going to treat this like it's a class issue. if you're going to try to implement these policies and you're going to say they're supposed to be held, okay, first of all, I don't think that monetary, whether it's, they should be held accountable for the damages, yes. No amount of money will replace Leo, for instance, for me. No amount of money will replace that infant that was mauled to death. And no amount of money, I'm sure, will replace that poodle that was killed by that pit bull in the video we just watched. So they can provide monetary relief, yes, but that will not replace the loved ones that are lost. This is why I believe we need to have more firmer restrictions on who can or cannot own these dogs. And we need to have common sense about this. So here is some stats for you guys. America's most dangerous dog breeds. Here's one stat. By the way, if you look this up, if you just Google it, it's literally the same stat everywhere. 284 deaths accounted for by pit bulls, 2005 to 2017. Pit bull, the most dangerous. Okay. Here's another stat. Dog bite statistics, bite per breed. This is fatality. These are fatality bites. So pit bulls, and they're not showing the percentages here. Here we go. Breeds. Pit bulls 65% in this one. I'm sorry. I almost said bruiser 69. I meant bruiser 55. 65%. Rottweiler 10%. It's always the same. Rottweilers are pretty dangerous, but from going from 65 down to 10% is a great decline. It's a great slope, okay? And also, you have to consider the ownership of these dogs. Pit bulls, I want to reiterate, account for only 6 to 7% of the dog population in the United States. Rottweilers are, what percentage are Rottweiler? Did it say what percentage of dogs are gay? That's funny. Rottweilers make up approximately 1.8% of the dog population in the United States. That's interesting. Yeah, 1.8. So pit bulls are more common than Rottweilers. So Rottweilers may be just as, I wouldn't say just as dangerous. 65 is still a big increase, but 1 to 10, yeah. German Shepherds are on there. Now let's look at what percent of German Shepherds. Remember, guys, per capita, Shepherds. 7%. Okay, so German Shepherds take up about, this is just an AI generated answer, so it's not going to be perfect. This one says 4.6 to 7. It's still the same amount of dogs in the United States are German Shepherds, about 7%. They only make up, they're only number 3. They're only, what's the percentage here? Only 4% of fatalities are attributed to German Shepherds, and they take up the same amount of dog breeds as pit bulls. So as you can see, inherently more dangerous, but you don't even have to look at the amount owned to understand that this number is ridiculously high. So scary stuff. Here's this one last story. A dog attack leads to shots fired. This happened just the other day as well. This one does not say what breed of dog it was, but I don't think, but we can assume what kind of dog it was, okay?
It's time.
It's an ad again.
Time
Like,
to let
of course.
your soul breathe.
Let's just read the article. Evansville police say dog attack was ended after man shot into the ground. Wait. After a man fired a shot into the ground. There you go. Officers were called to 1100 block East Iowa Street. According to officials, a dog jumped a fence to go after a small dog in their owner's backyard. Once again, let's use Occam's razor here. What kind of dog do we think it most likely is? All you have to do is look at the statistics here. Police say the owner of the dog tried to stop the fight, but got her hand bit. That's when officers say the man fired his gun to scare the dog away. The small dog was taken to the vet to be treated. No arrests were made and none of the dogs were taken. Okay? I really do think we need emergence of more breed-specific legislation, and we need licensing. And I'm glad to see that more and more people are agreeing with this because, you know, they're just outright they're killing infants here, okay, babes. And what I will say is that, once again, for Americans to acknowledge that we have a problem with these dogs, we need to acknowledge the reality of breed-specific history and genetics. There is a sort of fear to acknowledge genetics. And although I understand that, as a dog owner, I understand that nothing will come between me and my dog, right? Like, you love your pet. I understand that. It's a very important bond, especially with dogs, that humans hold. And it is a very difficult conversation to have. And that is why a lot of people don't even want to acknowledge the possibility that their dog may be a bioweapon. But we also have to prevent these, you know, these ownerships from occurring, these emotional ties from reoccurring. So we have to limit the breeding of these dogs. We have to discuss about the importance of responsibility and the importance of attention that is required for the ownership of these dogs. And that's what I'll leave it on that on this segment here. Like I said, I talked about it on my last stream. I just wanted to bring it up because I saw that a few more stories had popped up about pit bulls, and I had wanted to talk about it on my stream. It's also a topic that I'm obviously quite passionate about as a dog owner myself, right? But Leo, what do you think about that? I know you came here for this particular segment. Nelson65, right? Pit bulls are a status symbol. I'm tough. I own a dangerous and powerful dog. Yes. Yeah, Bruce. Sorry, Nelson. I wouldn't say status symbol. Specifically, I would say it's more like it is a signaling. And what I've come to find out is that people that typically own pit bulls, they will either really love their pit bull or they just use it as an object, basically, as like a fighting machine. Brock estimates there are 1 million pits in Texas, accounting for 80,000 annual attacks, with 14,000 requiring medical attention. If those estimates are correct, Barney, that is horrifying. I feel like a dog as a bioweapon concept could also be considered a fart joke. Therefore, pugs and Boston Terriers are the worst. Oh, Bruiser655, almost said it again. Don't get me started on pugs. And Boston Terriers are unique in and of themselves. I love pugs, but they are quite the handful. But not as much as a handful as this guy. Once again, I will reiterate, pit bulls take up about 6% of the entire dog population and account for 65 to 70% of all dog-related fatalities in the United States. That is an egregious number. These dogs are bioweapons. They are made to kill. They are made to kill living things, smaller or bigger than them. They must be regulated. Their ownership must be regulated. If we want a safer America, the first step is at least acknowledging the breed-specific history, the genetic history of these dogs, and act accordingly. Right, Leo? That's right. Okay. I'll be talking about FSU next, you guys. It's going to be a bit more serious. So I will be pulling that up here in after this commercial break, and then I think I'll call it quits on this stream. Thank you for all that have stuck around. It's a bit of a lower attended stream because, you know, we have had everyone else is streaming. I don't know if Leo will stay for this part. It's a bit, you know, serious, but I will be covering some FSU, the FSU situation unfolding, so stick around for that. We will be right back, everyone. And thank you for joining the Culturama stream.
You were dancing to the radio, spinning round in the glow. Carried dreams on the wind to see our heroes begin. Which shout will they light the way, with courage shining bright today? We're holding hands through the fights and fears, together against the tide of years. Remember when the heart stood tall. In the shadows they stand, with courage so bold, fighting for the land, legends to behold. They whisper of hope, like tales of old. Rise, winged heroes, rise, their stories unfold. Oh, they carry the flame ever bright, guiding us home. In the shadows they gather, with their banners raised high, a song of defiance echoes beneath the sky. They rise up in the night with passion burning bright.
I thought the world would turn slower, not as fast as it does. Conservative hearts were steady, sure and just because. A simpler time of values, when right was what it was. It seems like those days vanished with just a fleeting pause.
Right-wing dreams of yesterday, steady in the fray, keeping timeless traditions, leading all the way.
Okay, you guys, we are back here in Culturama. Welcome, welcome, everyone. It has been such a wonderful stream today. We have covered a plethora of topics, anywhere from autism to pit bull attacks to Karmelo Anthony. And I want to thank everyone that has joined us today. Because of the FSU situation, I think it is up to me to cover it a bit. Obviously, I'm not like breaking news, so I don't want to, I'm going to do my best to keep everything accurate. If I get something wrong, please forgive me. This is, of course, just my own stream. I'm not like a news station. I don't have like all the top reporters here, but I did get a number of sources on the FSU situation, and I think it is my prerogative to cover that here on this stream because it is an unfolding situation, and the details surrounding the perpetrator is interesting, okay? Really interesting, especially if you are a Trump supporter. So let's get that pulled up here. I have all the sources here. Give me a second to get on the page. Oh, whoop, here we go. Okay, breaking. This was earlier this morning. Authorities have identified the suspect in the FSU shooting as a 20-year-old young white man known as Phoenix Inker, I think is the name. I've seen people write Eichner, so I don't know how accurate that is, but I'm just going to go with this post here for now. The son of the Leon County, Florida Sheriff's deputy. His mom was a Florida Sheriff's deputy. According to police, he had access to his mother's firearm, which was used in the shooting. Eichner, a political science major, such as myself, political science, quite the discipline, has previously participated in anti-Trump and pro-Palestine rallies. This is the rumor now, okay? Again, don't know how accurate this is. This is the information that I'm dealing with and I'm working with here. The FSU mass shooting left, as of this post, they said 2 dead and 5 injured. The number of those deaths have now increased to 5 deaths. So there's a picture of him. So there is Phoenix, and then this picture allegedly is him. I don't know, again, how accurate this is, you guys. I really don't, but this is the news that I've received. This is the first responders. We already saw this video. And this was President Trump's statement as of this morning, as reported by Ben
Thank you
Johnson.
very much, everybody. And I've been briefed on the Florida State University, Tallahassee active shooting. I guess it's an active shooter. fully briefed as to where we are right now. It's a shame. It's a horrible thing, horrible that things like this take place, and we'll have more to say about it later. Thank you very much, everybody, and I've been briefed on the Florida State
that was
University.
President Trump's response. I've been briefed on the Florida State University Tallahassee active shooting. It's a horrible thing, for those that didn't hear. I'm quoting it. Horrible things like this take place. We'll have more to say about it later, and we will. I don't know as of right now if he has come out with any more statements, but that was his statement as of earlier today. Update, the Florida State University shooter in custody was shot by police after going into the student union with a shotgun and handgun. After blowing through the shotgun shells, he then switched to a handgun. The shooter is now in the hospital, so he very well could still be alive, unless something has changed. My conflicting reports about the number of the shooting from various Florida news agencies. Press conference could come around 4 p.m. ET. I've started my stream since then, so I don't know what the status of that is. But here's more coverage.
Give us the update per your source, who's currently holding a building on the scene there.
Again, this is just one source of information. They have said that there is one person in custody. They were seen in handcuffs with their face down, and they were shot by law enforcement. Their understanding is that there are 2 deceased and 3 injured. Again,
so now that's
confirmed.
3 okay, 2 deceased was still there. I've heard 5.
That does not include a shooter or shooters.
Does not include the shooter. Those are victims. Shooter allegedly went into the student union with a shotgun. They went through the rounds of the shotgun, then they switched to a handgun. When the individual was taken into custody after being shot at, they believe by law enforcement, the handgun was on his person. Again, that shooter was taken into custody, seen face down on the ground in custody. Law enforcement at this point has cleared multiple.
I don't know if you guys can hear that, but okay. I wanna read this tweet. The FSU shooter was white. I don't want to fundraise for him. I don't want to make t-shirts with him. I want him to have a fair and speedy trial where he is sentenced to capital punishment after being found guilty. Do you see a difference? Do you guys see a difference? Do you guys see a difference here? The subversive aspects and elements of cultural Marxism has completely occupied and claimed every aspect of political activism for these people, whether it be related to BLM, whether it be anti-Trump, anti-white, anti-American, whatever. Point of the matter is that these people do not care. They have no empathy. And not only that, they want to go after you, whether or not it is your son that was killed, and you forgive them, they still would want to go after you and be centered as the victim. Likewise, even if you are just attending university or you happen to, I don't know, vote for or agree with the wrong figurehead, thought leader, political pundit, candidate for president, they want you dead regardless. If you have a difference of ideological opinion or upbringing, they want you dead. They want reparations of some kind. They want you to suffer. And so this is the world that we're living in. And lo and behold, I do think it relates to this. This leftist, as you can see, a leftist account made this post. The ultimate source of political power is and always will be violence. If the present administration should continue on its course, there is no choice but war. I say this out of sorrow. When must we kill them? Okay. This person, I don't know them. I don't follow them. They are a PhD student, liberal, and Aspie. Okay. So Asperger's, I think is what that means. I post interesting papers. Okay, so they have 7,000 followers. Guys, bump up those numbers because I have less followers than this person. This person doesn't deserve any followers. Anyway, so this Nicholas Decker guy posted this article When must we kill them? Evil has come to America. The present administration is engaged in barbarism. It has arbitrarily imprisoned its opponents, revoked the visas of thousands of students, imposed taxes on us without our consent. Like you guys have? That's funny. And seeks to destroy... By the way, Biden engaged in a lot of deportations as well. Granted, he didn't revoke visas, but still. Not that I'm aware of. Its leader has threatened those who produce unfavorable coverage and suggested that their licenses are revoked. It has deprived us, in many cases, of trial by jury. It has subjected us to a jurisdiction foreign to our Constitution. This guy, this leftist, is saying that he wants you dead. He wants me dead. And we are just supposed to ignore this fact. So as this is unfolding, as this news story is unfolding, I'm not, I obviously don't have all the details of this case, but if everything is true, it does appear that this guy did have certain ideological leanings opposed to our own, primarily of leftist leanings, and they want a war in America. And if you don't think that posts like this from this individual, Nicholas, and these leftists that are saying that they want us dead, they want, certain reparations or certain, they want certain indulgences sent their way, that they will try to punish us, kill us, ruin our lives. If you don't take that seriously, well, that seems to be what's happening here in FSU right now. So as far as we're aware, again, details are still released on this. But I did my due diligence to cover it. This story is unfolding. So perhaps in the next stream, I will come to talk about more details that follow afterwards. But I want you guys to stay safe out there. This is why it's so important to reclaim the conversation, like I try to do with this show. Because this has been going on for a bit too long now, to the point where it could cost people's lives. We need to have common sense back in this country. And I don't try to mean this like a boomer or, say common talking points, but like I've already mentioned on the stream, we need to acknowledge basic facts of reality. And when there are clearly, bad actors, we need to point them out sooner rather than later. Okay? So that's what I'm going to end this stream on that note. How'd you guys like the stream? I liked it. I didn't get the biggest viewership today. I understand I'm going against a lot of other bigger accounts here. Like on Twitter. Let's see. I saw Tim Pool was streaming earlier. I know it's like springtime. People are out and about. So I'm not gonna be pissy about it, but I did like this stream a lot. It was actually pretty fun. Thank you guys that showed up, and Leo still made an appearance, so that's great. He was here the whole time while I was doing that. Oh my gosh, I forgot to read a campaign. Do I have any campaigns left? It's still 1775 coffee. That's okay. I didn't get that many viewers today anyway. But anyways, you guys, what'd you guys write? The shooter, once he gets out of the hospital, might start a GoFundMe campaign, and his family might play the victim. I don't know if this will happen this time, Nelson65. I really feel like that's a Karmelo Anthony family-specific situation. A Karmelo Anthony's family special, if you will. But if that's the case, maybe that's true. Maybe leftists will do that as well. Conservatives are too moral, and therefore we will lose. Principles before the fall, Nelson65. We need to be, I hate to say, we need to be principled, but we also need to be pragmatic. Conservatives and more so libertarians are not pragmatic enough. Such a good boy writes Bugs Nasty. I'm multitasking, also motorcycle shopping. Bruiser 55, congrats. What kind of motorcycle are you getting? My dad used to have a Harley. I was raised around that kind of stuff. I'm not big into motorcycles myself, but I rode on a Harley a few times as a kid with my dad. So that's pretty neat. I don't know you're a motorcycle hobbyist, Bruisers 55. That's pretty cool. The FAFO group will do nothing. awesome Leo, writes all caps and Nelson65. Yes, exactly. If you guys I know Nelson, you got a pillow already, and I think Entropy Nomad did. If you guys want your very own Leo, go to the Culturama shop right now. That can be found in the ap4libertyshop.com. You search up Culturama collection, you'll see a pillow of him. Let me drop a link for that. I already dropped a link for the coffee. Let me drop another link for the Leo pillow for you guys, so you guys can check it out. There you go. If you guys are interesting. If you guys are that was a second language moment. My apologies. If you guys are interested, check out that pillow. I am a humble coffee merchant. I am a humble pillow merchant. I'm still waiting for my pillow to be sent in, but I did get the Leo the pillow. And I am a merchant of many types of goodies and crafts. So if you guys go to that, follow that link, there are other items on the shop as well. But if you purchase something under the Culturama collection banner, that will go a long way in supporting the show, and you will be my best friend. So thank you. Okay, you guys. Anyways, I think that I'm going to call it quits here. This has been quite the stream. Not the best topics because it's so sad, but important topics nonetheless, like with any Culturama stream. So I'm going to start doing my outro here. I like the background music.
In the heart they gather strong.
All right, you guys, thank you so much for joining this amazing episode of Culturama. Thank you in joining me in the fight against postmodernism and cultural Marxism and the evils in this country, where we can rectify Americanism and traditional American values back into the United States with integrity and with dignity, everybody. Leo and I will bid you good night, everyone, and God bless. Have a wonderful Easter, and we will be doing our gaming stream this Saturday. I don't know what we're playing yet, but I'll let you know. But join me this Saturday on the special Easter Saturday for the gaming stream. Otherwise, I'll see you guys next Tuesday. God bless and Godspeed, everyone. Have a wonderful night.
Marching proudly through the day. In the eagle's shadow wide, we find our strength and take our pride. Let the voices echo loud, tearing through the waiting crowd. We've got the power now in the heart of every town. We've got the power now. The Reds are going down. Across the plains and mountains tall, hear the victory call. With courage and with might we strive in the light of freedom's guide. We got the power now in the heart of every town. We've got the power now.